Got some Bears coaching search news, rumors, and updates to discuss here on Chicago Bears Now. My name is Harrison Graham. Are the Las Vegas Raiders the biggest threat for Ben Johnson? We'll dive into that. Is Marcus Freeman going to get an interview with the Bears after what he's done leading Notre Dame to the national championship game? And then lastly, the first domino has fallen in this coaching cycle. Mike Vrabel has been hired by the New England Patriots. So we'll dive into it all here on today's show. But I do want to let you guys know we're going to be live here in just a little bit here on the channel. Myself, producer Colin, the Bears Now live crew, back at it for another watch party. Packers, Eagles, FGBs in the comments. You know what to do. We'll start around 3 o'clock Central Time, game at 3:30. So should be a lot of fun. And come join us for that. And obviously subscribe for daily coaching search updates. We'll have you guys covered this entire offseason. Okay, let's talk Ben Johnson. How big of a threat is Las Vegas? Ian Rapoport reporting that the Raiders are making a strong push for the Lions offensive coordinator, and at the very least, he is interested. And, you know, you look at this thing, and I do think it's down to the Bears and Raiders at this point. Obviously, with Mike Vrabel going to New England, we'll get to that here in a little bit. They're out of it. He interviewed with the Jaguars as well, but unless they pivot off Trent Baalke or move him into a different role, I don't think that's that appealing of a situation for Ben Johnson. Sure, no state income tax, whatever. But I just don't think he's going to like that setup with Baalke. I do think it's the Bears or Raiders for Johnson. And how did the Raiders enter the fray? It's pretty simple. Tom Brady has an influence there. Tom Brady's impact is real. If Mark Davis calls Ben Johnson's agent, is Ben Johnson's agent that eager to answer the phone? No. If Tom Brady does, I'll tell you right now, if Tom Brady's calling me right now, I'm canceling the show and I'm answering the phone. Mark Davis, yeah, I'll call you back. It's just there's certain people in your course of life that if they call, you will drop everything to answer that phone. Tom Brady's one of those guys. Now, is it enough to get a guy like Ben Johnson to take your job, even though the roster's not in a great spot, even though there isn't a clear path to a quarterback, even though you're in a very tough division, as are the Bears? I don't know, but clearly he's done enough to have Ben Johnson at least be interested. And if I'm the Raiders, I think the pitch is pretty simple or pretty clear and something that the Bears, as of now, cannot offer. If you come here, Ben, you can handpick the GM. You can work with Tom and you guys pick the GM. The Bears can't offer that because as of now, they have kept Ryan Poles. Now, could they change their mind? Could Ben Johnson's reps call the Bears and say, hey, the Raiders will let me pick a GM, but I like your job better. But if you keep Poles, I'm going to Vegas. I don't know. I don't know how much power Johnson and his camp are going to want to swing here in this process. But I think that is the one thing that Vegas can pitch and Vegas can offer that the Bears can't. Because path to a talented quarterback, Bears have a talented quarterback in Caleb Williams, who obviously needs some grooming. Raiders do not, and they don't have a clear path to getting a talented quarterback anytime soon. They don't pick high enough to get Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward. They could trade up to get one of them, maybe, but then you're mortgaging a lot of picks for QB prospects that aren't viewed as a Caleb Williams caliber prospect. What are you going to do? Sign Kirk Cousins? I think you're in a situation where the Bears, everything is better about the Bears job, but the Raiders could say, you can pick your GM. You can run the show. So I do think that is going to be the one thing that Vegas can offer. And if he takes that job, that'll probably be why. And that would be a pretty big indictment on the Bears if that were to happen. Now, I'm not in the camp of I necessarily think it's going to happen. I do think the Bears are the favorite. I think they're sitting in a pretty good position as of now. One thing I will say, though, is the Bears continue to add names to their coaching search. They're up to 18 now. The Raiders seem more narrow focused, so does that throw a wrench into things? I'm not sure. You guys let me know who you think lands Ben Johnson, CHI for the Bears, LV for the Las Vegas Raiders. Speaking of another coaching interview, number 18, Marcus Freeman. The Bears are reportedly interested. Now, it doesn't mean he's going to interview, but according to multiple reports here on Sunday morning, the Bears would like to interview the Notre Dame head coach. More on this. Reports from earlier on in the NFL season that suggested that would be the case. But first, I do want to tell you guys about today's sponsor. That is Prize Picks. Daily fantasy made easy. The playoffs are here. The games have never been bigger. Get in on all the action so you can talk trash with your buddies. Set lineups of 2 or more players to your daily fantasy lineups. and have a chance to win a bunch of money. 2 players or more, pick less on the stat projections. If you're going football, yards, receiving yards, passing yards, rushing yards, touchdowns, combo stats like rushing plus receiving yards, all kinds of stats available. Fantasy score, if you're using basketball players, hockey players, points, rebounds, assists, goals, etc. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Use the code CLNS if you're a first-time customer to get $50 added to your account once you play for just $5. Just $5. I got a little 2-player action right here. Saquon Barkley. I like him to find the end zone at least once. A little goblin play there, pretty easy to hit. And then you can get a deal on Mike Evans right now, a little discount, 52.5 receiving yards. Like that one as well. 20 to win about $50 right there. You can win up to 1,000 times your entry on certain lineups with Prize Picks. Just an awesome game to play. Go check it out. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Code CLNS to get an additional $50 once you play for just 5. Pick more, pick less. It's Prize Picks. All right, let's talk a little Marcus Freeman here. He's done a hell of a job at Notre Dame. He kind of reminds me of, a young Mike Tomlin, one of these guys who's been around for 15, 20 years. He's the CEO type, the motivator type, the energetic type. He's done an unbelievable job. Notre Dame is not a top 2 team in college football in terms of raw talent. Like, he's out coaching people. He out-coached Kirby Smart. He out-coached James Franklin. Like, he's getting the best out of what he has on that roster. And by the way, they've had a ton of injuries, and they're still winning these games. There is one big question I have, because there's not really a history of this working out. He has 0 coaching experience in the NFL. I'm not talking about as a coordinator. I'm not talking about being a head coach. He hasn't even been like a quality control guy. And why that's a concern is it's just a different dynamic, man. You've got guys in the locker room. Like, if he coached Mercedes Lewis, he's older than Marcus Freeman, which that's one thing if it's a guy who's been in the NFL for a while. Like when Sean McVay got the Rams job at 30 or 31, he'd been in the NFL for like 7 years. Marcus Freeman's only been in college. That's it. There's not, like, go look at the history of college guys jumping to the NFL. The few that work have had experience in the NFL. There's basically no track record of a guy going from college to the NFL with 0 NFL experience, especially in recent memory. I think this guy has the chops to be an NFL head coach one day, but I don't know. That feels way too risky for where the Bears are at right now, and I like Freeman. I'm not even opposed to them talking to him, but I just think there's more qualified, safer options, better options than Freeman at this time. He also just got a new contract extension with Notre Dame. Like, if I'm him, I'm trying to win this national title, and I'm trying to build a little dynasty there. Then maybe in 3, 4, 5 years, if he's a consistent playoff team and wants to make the jump to the NFL, make the jump then. But I don't know if you can go this route if you're Chicago at this point in time. Do you guys have any interest in Marcus Freeman? Scale 1 to 10, 10 being very interested, 1 being not at all. I have more than not at all interest. I mean, 4 or 5. Like, I think he's a damn good coach. I think he could be an NFL head coach. I just think there's better options on the table for the Bears right now. Okay, the first domino falls. Mike Vrabel to the Patriots, the NFL's worst kept secret. As far as the Bears go here, it's a little disappointing they didn't bring him in person for an interview, but would that have really changed anything? Like, I'm not going to rip the Bears for this because, let's be honest, when you fire Gerard Mayo an hour after the game and you have a 1,000-word statement typed out ready to go, I think you have a pretty good idea of who you're hiring, and that's Mike Vrabel. I'm not sure the Bears could have done anything to change his mind. Tom Brady couldn't even get him into the building, so in Vegas. So they got an interview with him. Hopefully they learned something. The Patriots got him. Once that job opened up, it felt like, unless the Patriots decided to change their mind, he was always going to want to go home and go coach the Patriots, the place he played and had a really good career. So it is what it is. He was my number 2 guy, so obviously it's kind of a good news, bad news situation. The good news is one less team in the Ben Johnson sweepstakes. That's where the attention goes to now in this coaching cycle. The bad news is well, if you don't get Ben Johnson, then you're down to your number 3, number 4, number 5, and so forth candidate as you go from there. So that's where things sit. So you look at this coaching carousel as of now. Keep an eye on Dallas and potentially Pittsburgh. Nothing finalized with Mike McCarthy in Dallas. And, I do think there will be Mike Tomlin rumors with the Steelers, and if there are, I think the Bears could be in the mix there. So stay tuned for that. But Bears, Jags, Jets, Raiders, Saints, open jobs right now. I mean, I think the debate was Patriots or Bears. I think with New England hiring their coach, with all the Bears' flaws, I think they are clearly the best open job right now. Maybe you could say the Jags, but you better love Trevor Lawrence because that contract is just about to start with $200 million guaranteed. If you don't like T-Law, that job's not very good. Okay, that's going to do it for Chicago Bears. Now, we'll be back here in a little bit. Eagles, Packers, watch party, FGB. We'll see you then here on Bears Now.